up? It's Raiti from Raiti's Rides. We are here in downtown LA for a special unveil of this vehicle right here. This is it. This is your all-new 2023 Toyota Prius. But before we get into the first of the truly mass-marketed hybrid vehicles, let's talk about what's going on here. Toyota, they are on a rampage, going through their lineup of vehicles, making some major redesigns, some long-standing redesigns, and then of course bringing some new vehicles to market. We've already touched on their movement towards trying to cut down on what is happening in the environment when it comes to automobiles and of course emissions. Now, we've already brought to you the all-new BZ4X, but before the BZ4X was even a thought in Toyota's mind, the Prius is what really was at the forefront for trying to increase fuel economy, range, and also protecting the environment. Now, the Prius first appeared, believe it or not, in Japan all the way back in 1997. Here in the United States, it's been over 20 years of massive sales. What's interesting is that what you're gonna find with this new Prius is that Toyota is really bringing some smart styling and also increasing power and performance and of course range. But what I want to find out is if you're looking for that hybrid compact size sedan, is the Prius the best new way to go, especially with the changes that Toyota has made? Let's go ahead, let's dive into this 2023 Prius and find out. Right off the bat, they're utilizing this silhouette one-shape design. This has probably got to be, and I can't believe I'm saying this, the sexiest looking Prius yet. I'll be honest to you. When I first saw my first ever Prius, it looked a little bit like a science experiment. But you know what? Looking at the shape, the aero, the way that the car is wider, it's a little bit lower, is really showing off what you can gain from aerodynamics, plus also have a great shape. Now, at the front of the business, you're gonna see a lot of that family resemblance with different Toyota vehicles when it comes to the front fascia and the lighting. I absolutely have loved what they've done with the headlight housing. You'll notice that the headlight housing, super slim, super trim, full LED headlights, and then look at how it wraps up and around and into the top of the front fascia. This is that type of styling that you're seeing taken from vehicles like the new BZ4X and brought over to the Prius. But definitely from an aerodynamic shape, we're talking about cutting down the coefficient of drag, and what that's gonna do is that's gonna help increase the range of this vehicle. Plus, it gives you one nice look. Now, working your way down, nothing fake, everything smooth. On the lower portion, just a little bit of gloss black, and it's balancing nicely with our metallic silver. Now, as we come across that low slung nose, you're gonna see, like I said, some of that family resemblance with the different vehicles in their lineup. We got the Toyota badge, nice aluminum finish, obviously so much history with that badge and so much history with the Prius. You know, to go before when nobody else has gone, that's what the Prius has always been about, and that's what Prius means, to go before the others. Now, you'll notice that we do have functionality in this top midsection. You do get a forward-facing camera on this particular trim, and then working your way down, you're gonna have this nice separate area that is fully functional. Plus, what I like is the way they went with this sort of like a gunmetal metallic gray finish. And if you're looking at other vehicles that we showcased here from Toyota, of course, the updated Corolla, the Crown, the BZ4X, you could see that family resemblance. But boy, what a sleek look to a Prius. Now, when you get up onto the hood, look at the way the body lines, they start up front at an angle, and then everything kind of curves and then evaporates as you get towards the windshield and those A-pillars. I know you're gonna think I'm a little crazy, but some of this shape is sort of reminding me a little bit of the Supra, the way that you have that angular cut and then it goes right towards the A-pillars. Now, when we come around the bend, of course, you're gonna have your different trims to choose from. LE is gonna be your entryway into the Prius, but we're gonna talk about the other trims, especially this one as well. Now, when you're looking at this particular setup, you're gonna notice, of course, not only do we have an all-new chassis that this is riding on, all new bodywork, but also all new wheels. Love the style, machined aluminum, the gunmetal metallic gray. It has a nice balance between classy and sporty. You're gonna have two different wheel options depending on what trim you go with. Base is gonna be 17-inch. This is your 19-inch wheel. And if you're wondering, well, what is the size of this? You're basically looking at that 50 series sidewall, nice setup. And then of course, you're looking at that hybrid capability. Now the great news is you could get front wheel drive, you could get all wheel drive, and then we also are gonna show you the all new Prime, which wait until we talk about power numbers there. We have a little bit of this nice sparkly metallic black area, not just a gloss black. I'm glad it's not just simple gloss black, but they put a nice little sheen to it and a nice little sparkle, almost like your grandfather's bowling ball or a bass fishing boat. Really in the sun, especially here in LA, has a nice sparkle to it, but definitely digging the way that they styled the wheels with the overall setup on this vehicle. Now coming down the side, you're gonna see a lower roof line. You know, that was one of the things that over the generations of the Prius that kind of turned me off a little bit was the size of the greenhouse. It had a very tall roof. The roof has been dropped, the car is wider. Here's that one single flow, that silhouette shape all the way from front to back. Really, really spot on the money when it comes to being sporty, but then of course you're gonna be able to also have that extra range. We have some gloss black on the mirror caps, nice and clean. I'm glad they didn't gloss up the whole thing, just the top portion. The rest is gonna be flat black. That's gonna take a better beating as you're driving this over the years. Of course, you're gonna get color matched on the door handles. And then one of my favorite parts of the design of the side of the vehicle is, check this out. On the lower sill, it actually tapers in, comes up, and then goes into the rear of the vehicle. Really, really unique styling to where it doesn't look like just a flat slab. This isn't meant to look like a microwave with wheels going down the road. It actually has a nice flow from front to back of the vehicle. Even the way, look what they did here. They actually have your door handle in that top portion near the rear window here. That really shows that cleanliness, the detail, and I'm glad that they used flat black here rather than gloss black, especially because your hands, people's hands are gonna be opening up that door a lot. Now, as we swing it around back, look at the way you have that nice hard edge along the base of where your side windows are, and then flaring out into this rear fender. It has a lot of character, more character than I've ever seen on any Prius. And then when you get to the back, the first thing I noticed was it looks a little bit like the Crown. So we already brought you the Crown. We did the full drive of the Crown. You could see some of those design elements, but coming off that low slung roof into the rear glass, you got a little bit of a kick up on that rear hatch area. And then of course, the Toyota badge, all that history, reliability, and just always has been there. And of course, this is gonna be that limited trim Prius on the badging. I like the way they didn't use a bunch of chrome. I think that's another thing that really is popping out. You're gonna have your digital rearview mirror. That's why you got the two separate cameras here, one for your backup, one for your digital rearview mirror, and then working your way down, just everything super clean with a little bit of gloss black. But you know what? It's not just about what this Prius looks like, it's about what's powering it. Let's go ahead and pop the hood on the all-new Prius. All right, guys, we got the hood popped. You do have a prop rod, but the great news is the technology and what is going on underneath the hood of this new generation of the Prius. So this is the 5th gen hybrid system that we're utilizing. What does that mean? That means you're gonna get a 2-liter inline 4, of course, paired to an electric motor to produce 194 horsepower. That makes it more powerful than, of course, the previous generation. It uses an all-new liquid-cooled lithium-ion battery pack, and the great news is that you could get electric on-demand all-wheel drive. So that really is gonna help, especially with those that live in northern states where there's a lot of snow. Here's the crazy thing. 0 to 60 times have dropped significantly. You're looking at, in the front-wheel drive vehicle, 7.2 seconds, 0 to 60. If that doesn't sound like a big deal, think about the previous generation. That was 9.8 seconds. I could almost beat an old Prius on a skateboard, but this new Prius definitely has some get up and go. If you're gonna go all-wheel drive, you're looking at 0 to 60 in 7 seconds. On the LE front-wheel drive combined, you're looking at 57 mpgs on this vehicle. And if you're wondering, what about the trims? You got the LE, the XLE, and the Limited. But like I said, it's not just about the standard Prius and the trims and grades that you could get this vehicle in. It's also about the new Prius Prime. So work your way over here. They have one display. Remember, this is 10 years in the making of plug-in hybrid technology from Toyota. Loving the color, and then you'll also notice you're gonna get a different wheel design when you go with the Prime. So with the Prime, a little bit different style, a little bit different wheel setup on it, but you know what? What you're gonna love is what's underneath the hood. So just like on your standard Prius, you do have, of course, a prop rod, but that's gonna be the last comparison. What do we have when it comes to power? You're basically looking at a 2-liter inline-4 that's now producing, with the electric motor, 220 horsepower with the lithium-ion battery pack, 0 to 60 in 6.6 seconds. And if you do the math, they're saying 50% increase in that range. If you do the math, you're looking at almost 40 miles on pure EV. And that's the thing that I think a lot of people are still trying to wrap their mind around, is when it comes to electrification, Toyota's been doing the business since 1997, and with these plug-in electric hybrids having a decade of experience where you use this vehicle, if you live, say, 20-mile round trip from work, you'll be able to do it on electricity alone and not use any of the fuel. But you know what? There's big changes coming to the interior. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's jump inside the new Prius and see what's in store. All right, guys, we're inside this 2023 sportier Toyota Prius. Interesting that the door does not open any wider, so I am gonna zonk that. That's gonna make Lori kind of have to wiggle woggle just a little bit to make the magic happen. But I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, this has to be the best looking Prius yet. My grandmother had one and I used to make fun of her all the time for driving a Prius. I'm really digging this new one. What about pricing? No official pricing yet, but stay tuned because we're going to be bringing that to you in the upcoming months. Of course, we're also going to be able to get you that first drive, but it's all about the first look and what is new on this Prius. So let's see what you're getting for the money once you plop it down and we find out what that price is. To the door panels, I like the clean style. No gloss black, so you don't have to worry about fingerprints all over the place. Soft touch material, and even around the switch gear, they did a great job keeping everything just nice and straightforward. Now the door pocket is a little tight, but you should be able to get yourself a California burrito. What is that? That is a burrito filled with avocados. And of course, sour cream and everything else good. You could also get a small bottle of Fresca to wash it on down, but nice and clean. Now going from the door panel to the dash, this is where things get really cool. Check it out. Love the soft touch material, that blue strip of LED ambient lighting. Even the way they did this design on the material here, it looks so nice and you don't have to worry about fingerprints, which is great. You're gonna have an 8-speaker JBL sound system on this trim, and then guess what? You want 12 inches? They got it for you here in California. California special 12.3-inch infotainment system. It's got the same great new multimedia operating software. Of course, the one thing that a lot of people are going to be focused on with their Prius is going to be that energy flow, and you could see how you could pull that up very easily. Remember, front-wheel drive like we have here, you could also get all-wheel drive as well. Mind-blowing, 0 to 60 in 7 seconds. Now, let me know how you feel about the screen. I don't mind it because it's totally out of view, and it's much better than what was on the previous Prius. I like the way it's got the name, real simple and clean. Doesn't have to be this gaudy emblem or anything like that. There's the Prius name right there. You got your power on button. We have heated seats, ventilated seats, and you got your AC controls right within fingertip reach. USB-C, a 12-volt, and another USB-C. Of course, we got to have the Twinkie tray. 7 California Twinkies. What's the difference between a regular Twinkie and a California Twinkie? It's actually filled with avocados. That's the home of the avocados, California, here in the United States. Watch this. You could actually take this out. Say you're extra hungry and you need more space, you could actually take this out and then replace it. All 1, 2, 3. You got 2 cup holders, your Toyota key fob, just like before. And then this is going to control that eCVT transmission. Yes, it still has an eCVT. Let me know how you feel about that. Do you like the materials? A little bit of gloss black here, but you know, nothing too crazy. Wireless charging. You could go into your EV mode, which is awesome. Semi-soft on the armrest. I feel like they took a piece of recycled plastic and wrapped it in soft-tex. So I would like this to be a little bit softer, but you open it up, you got 2 more USB-Cs, and you have enough room to actually put a model of the first 1997 Prius in there. 1/24th scale. So that should tell you how much room there. Not matchbox size. We're talking about 1/24th scale of the original Prius. Close it up, the seats. That soft-tex material, nice stitching, some good bolstering, which is also giving me a sporty vibe. On this trim, you have manual seat controls for the passenger. I have an 8-way electric adjustable seat for the driver. And then we got a panoramic split sunroof. That's what I'm talking about. And your digital rear view mirror. How cool is that? Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Get your butt over here. I want to show you behind the wheel of the new Prius. All right, guys, business side, what's great is you got 2 memory seat settings. So if you have a friend, if you're lucky enough to have a friend where you're going to let them, borrow your Prius, you could have that memory seat setting so they don't have to screw up yours. You'll notice the pedal box, lots of room. And that's another thing, is the space in here has been very well organized, and I can't wait to take it for a spin to really get the full effect. There's your seat controls within fingertip reach to get to the side. And as you can see, I'm 6 feet tall. I haven't shrunk since the last time you watched me. And you still got plenty of room in here, even with the sunroof, which is great. Now, steering wheel, leather all the way around. You do, of course, have that same steering wheel setup as the BC4X. So that's gonna be like a familiar sight to you. I wish there was just a little bit more adjustability with the tilting and the telescoping steering wheel, but what I do like is the dash. Nice, high, and perfectly in your line of sight so that you could pay attention to what's going on. And almost like, I think the best thing to kind of refer to it as is almost like a head-up display. That's what an engineer told me when we were looking at the BZ4X. And it does make sense where it's placed and what information that you're getting. But as you can see, the space is very well laid out. But why don't we go ahead, let's get into the back seat and see how much room we have in this Prius. All right, guys, back seat time. And once again, you would think with the lower roof line that you would have to kind of sit back here like this to be comfortable. Not at all. There's plenty of headroom. And what I think your kids, if you have kids, are going to enjoy about this is that they're going to be happy that you dropped them off in the front of school, rather than when you had the older Prius and they wanted to be dropped off about a block away and then walk to school because, it was a Prius. But this has that great shape to it. Backs of the seats, the soft-tex material. You do have a large pocket here. And what I highly recommend is putting the Encyclopedia Britannica set, especially dedicated to Nikola Tesla and electricity. That will fit perfectly back here. You do have your heated seats, which are nice, one-stage heated seats, and then you're also gonna have USB-Cs down below, and it looks like maybe some type of 12-volt or eventually a home power source. So that's another thing. Remember, this is a pre-production. We're just happy to be here with Toyota, but definitely they really got the overall balance of room and style. Of course, we have an armrest, and this one is Charmin Soft approved. Love the way you're gonna just feel comfortable going that extra mile or miles when it comes to the range. But why don't we go ahead, let's get into that cargo area and see what the heck we could fit in this Prius. All right, guys, let's get in the back of the new Prius. Real simple, just right where the Toyota badge is, you hit that button, you get a nice little chime, and there the rear hatch. That's another thing I like, is that from the outside it looks like a traditional sedan, but it really is a sportback the way you get that rear hatchback opening. What you're going to be greeted to is actually a very wide amount of room, and I even like the way the cargo floor has a nice little low level to give you that edge lip at the back of the cargo area. Of course, the seats will be able to do that 60-40 split tango, and I'm going to go ahead, you know what, I know we were talking about doing it or not doing it. We're going to fold down the seats just for the heck of it so that you could see exactly the hard work that the engineers have done with this setup. And you'll notice, you go to Costco, you get that big barrel of pickles. Look at how everything is flat from back to front. And then remember, the lithium-ion battery pack, that liquid-cooled lithium-ion battery pack, is actually under the rear seat. But when I was sitting back there, I didn't feel compromised, and you're definitely not compromising space. But you know what? I know you want to go on throttle with me. I want to be the first to take you in this Prius. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm really, really digging what Toyota is bringing with this new Prius. But until that day comes, why don't we go ahead, let's wrap it up from us. All right, guys, this has been one special experience here in this secret location deep within Los Angeles. I definitely want to thank the whole Toyota USA team for inviting us out so that we could bring this first look of the Prius and the Prius Prime to you. Let me know what you think. Is this the best new way to get that sportback sedan with some amazing fuel economy and, of course, electrification? Put your response down in that comment section. I know the Toyota team is going to go through those comments and read what you have to say. But until we meet another day in another secret location, if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raiti's Rides family. We got to give it up to the meanest and leanest behind that camera. She's working it like a champ. Show Lori some love in that comment section. Thank you, Lori, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.